Welcome to HoodChampionBoxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or find a way to lose. Good morning. Hey, I'll tell you right now, like, subscribe, consider donating to the channel if you enjoyed the video. Boom. Most common reasons fighters get criticized. Look, man, I think it's important we talk about this because a lot of people got on the defensive when we start talking about Berlanga. Start talking about boots in this. Talk about how guys pass the eye test, but when they get in the ring for the real test, when they step up in competition, they failed. Doesn't mean they're not a great fighter. Doesn't mean they're not elite or had the potential to be elite. It just means that, hey, there's some things we saw, as fans, and we're going to voice our opinion because that's what we do. And fighters are going to get criticized, all right? If you take a look at it, hell, people still criticize Floyd Mayweather. People criticize Muhammad Ali. You take it all the way back. People criticizing Jack Johnson. People criticizing Jack Dempsey. That criticism is just part of our reality. And although it's universal, it is painful. Now, not only is it painful for the fighters, but if you're a guy like Boots, you got thick skin. You're like, all right, I hear what people are saying. I can sit back and take a look at it myself and be honest. Be honest with myself. When I'm laying down in the bed by myself, away from the world, it's just me looking up at that damn ceiling fan. I can be real about my strengths, my weaknesses, but also can see the opportunities to get better, but then the threats that are going to prevent me from getting better. And those are the things that I need to focus on. Because let me tell you something, man. Being criticized for a lot, not just fighters, I think for everybody, but especially for fighters, because you see how it affected, some of these guys, the Ryan Garcias, the Adrian Broner. Some of these other fighters, Sugar Ray Leonard went through it. When it comes to the mental health, man, it triggers some fear. Makes you not want to go out there again. Look at Anthony Joshua. It triggers a little bit of shame. Hey, don't know if I really want to go back out there and have to deal with that. It makes you angry. Mike Tyson. See how he's reacted in the ring. Even Berlanga recently biting somebody's ear. Okay? And then that could end up feeding into your insecurities, right? And you see that happening with some of these fighters today. Now, I will tell you this. That damn Twitter is the worst place for anyone involved in boxing to go and read posts. Like, just stay off of Twitter. Twitter should be called toxic. Like, that's exactly what it is. You know what I mean? I put it to you like this. In my opinion, the equivalent of getting up in the morning and reading comments on Twitter is the equivalent of waking up in the morning and taking a tablespoon of rat poison to start your day. You will die. You understand? I'm telling y'all people, and for the fighters out there, stay off of Twitter. If you look and see how people are on there, we sit here on this channel and we have conversations. I believe in building champions, not breaking them down. But, we're going to have an opinion. And sometimes we laugh. Other times we're more serious. But at the end of the day, right, we have an opinion. But the whole Twitter thing with guys like Tyson Fury and, whether he cheated or he didn't cheat, Deontay Wilder, should he be with a new trainer or should he not be with a new trainer? Did he make excuses in his fights? Floyd Mayweather, was he shooting injections into his hands? Did he have a referee, Kenny Bayless, in his back pocket? Because Kenny Bayless sure as hell was reffing Floyd's fights, wasn't he? What I'm saying is there's always going to be some kind of criticism, some kind of judgment. And when you go to Twitter, that's the worst place because they're not even friendly about it. They just have people who wake up looking to shred fighters. But I'm going to tell you this right now, right? Criticism, to me, we can almost relate it kind of to just having pain in the human body. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is an unpleasant experience, but it's necessary for growth and learning. Okay? We can look at what happened here recently with Berlanga going over there to Matchroom. He left his trainer I think he was with Rozier. He got with this other person. But he's gonna have to. He's having to do things to make himself better. But he's being criticized along the way. Right now, there are some people who feel him going to Eddie Hearn's a good thing. Some people see it as a bad thing. I personally have an opinion, and I've criticized him. I actually praised Bob Arum and criticized Edgar Berlanga and criticized Eddie Hearn. Okay? Because I honestly feel Eddie Hearn's, it's nothing wrong. He's about his money. But Berlanga's going to get out here and get 1 or 2 fights. He should win. And maybe if Canelo even wants to, then Canelo fights him. But then what if Canelo doesn't? But if he does get the fight, Berlanga makes some money and he loses. I just don't think he can beat Canelo. But when it comes to criticizing people, there's some people, and you can see it with Eddie Hearn when he's interacting with different fighters, different promoters, and the way he talks. It can be a way of asserting power and social control. And also, when you watch Eddie Hearn and Leonard Ellerbe going back and forth and criticizing each other the way they do, that's, in my opinion, that's a way of them neutralizing the competition. You know what I'm saying? Breaking them down, building themselves up, compare and contrast. I'm okay, you're not okay. But at the same time, it could be a way of communicating a genuine grievance or speaking up for oneself, which you suffer in silence, right? So criticism isn't always bad, but I think there's a certain skill that comes with it. And if you're unskilled at criticizing, even looking at yourself, I think that's bad medicine. Okay? Because we know not all experiences and situations are the same. And look, you got to be able to respond to things mindfully and skillfully. And sometimes in the world of combat sports, that's not what necessarily happens. So when we talk about reasons why a boxing fan, another boxer, a promoter, a manager, or just people in the boxing community, why they may criticize, there's a lot of things we could talk about. The first is, sometimes other fighters, promoters, or just people in the boxing community are threatened by an individual's competence. You look at a young up-and-comer, look at what they're doing, and people feel threatened, right? I'm going to throw this out here right now. You may disagree. People are threatened by Jake Paul, right? Anybody want to shoot me for saying that? These are facts right here. People are threatened by Jake Paul. Jake Paul, to a lot of people, he's not supposed to be where he's at. I get it. I get the level of competition he faced. But I think that was even a level playing field, in my opinion. But the point to where he's at now, about to fight Tommy Fury, I think he's going to knock Tommy Fury out. People are threatened. The fact that they're about to if he beats Tommy Fury, he gets ranked by the WBC at 168 pounds. Now, I want to make sure y'all understand this. It doesn't mean Jake Paul's going to be ranked mandatory to damn Canelo. No, but he's going to be ranked. And that's a huge accomplishment. But let me tell you, people will try to level the playing field by breaking Jake Paul down and other fighters down who are doing well. And that's just something people do. I'm not saying it's right. That's just a reality. Then another reason is people start having concerns about your motivation, about your skill level, about your performance, or even what you contribute. Now we're still talking boxing, but you're telling me that there are people who aren't watching Francis Ngannou and getting ready to criticize him for him coming over to boxing and looking at the fact that this man may be able to come over here as strong as he is. He does have a little bit of a boxing background, but he's working on it. And he can't come over, and he's going to come over here and maybe outperform some of our top boxers. You're telling me that people aren't looking at that saying, hey, this guy has a kind of motivation where I'm not sure this is going to benefit me. So then what happens? They start to criticize him, right? And again, there's a certain skill set required for people to criticize others to where it's not where they're tearing them down. But more times than not, it's painful when you get criticized. I think Francis Ngannou, I think he's going to see that coming over to boxing. There's going to be some people who are happy that he's coming over and going to embrace him, but a lot of people are going to say, hey, look, he doesn't stand a chance. He's a UFC fighter. He doesn't know a damn thing about boxing. Why is he coming over here? And it's a bit of a rude awakening, okay? Because there are some people who are going to see when guys come over to the sport of boxing who aren't doing their share of the work, and they're just getting handouts. There are people in boxing who see some fighters who are getting fights after fights after fight and feel like they're just getting the handouts, and they criticize them. Now, I'm going to tell you, there are fighters who get opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. And people who don't, boxers or fighters who aren't getting those opportunities, they sit back there and they criticize. Adrian Broner. Y'all telling me Adrian Broner hasn't received opportunity after opportunity? Now he come over here and got hooked up by Black Prime for 3 fights, 8-figure deal. Now, talk about criticism. How about when Al Heyman first came on the scene with PBC? Talk about the Muhammad Ali Act, how he's an advisor, he's not a promoter or a manager. He got criticized, raked across the coals by all the promoters, didn't he? He was trying to have fights for free. That only lasted so long. You look at Eddie Hearn, my man got heavily criticized. The whole DAZN thing, trying to come over to America. And Eddie Hearn creates some of his own misery because of his mouth. But it is what it is. Bob Arum, heavily criticized. Go over there and bring Devin Haney over, give him this horrible contract, setting this man up to lose twice in Australia. Now he's setting him up again to try to come to fight Lomachenko, which Haney should beat Lomachenko, no problem. But horrible. Horrible. The other thing, there's something in some of these fighters, some of these promoters, some of these fans, they have an unmet need that's not being satisfied. You know what I'm saying? You have something inside you that's not being satisfied, that can result in you criticizing people. Amir Khan is always criticizing somebody. Always has something to say about somebody. But he has something inside him that is an unmet need. There are a lot of fighters out there like that. You got some of those who have an unmet need where they may not criticize people, where they implode. Look at what's going on with Kell Brook right now. Very unfortunate. A lot of people have criticized him. There's some people who praised him. Said, no, they hope that he gets better. Then you get some people who feel like Kell Brook, there's nothing wrong with him doing cocaine. They're like, he's just taking a chill pill. A chill pill? Nah, man, that was more like frostbite if you look at that line of cocaine he did. But it is what it is. He's going through something. But what I'm saying is, he get criticized. And there's something going on in him. He's not satisfied. And it is what it is. But you see that to where there's an outward projection and then there's the inward. Okay? And it happens. And it's been happening and it's going to keep happening. Okay? And then you got those who like to criticize because they got the controlling personality. Who in boxing do you think has a controlling personality? When you think about promoters, and it's not Eddie Hearn, it's not Bob Arum, it's not Al Heyman, it's not Don King. How about Lou DiBella? Isn't he one of them negative Nancys? Lou DiBella always has something to say, doesn't he? Always criticizing. It's like what he says is fact. Like he's entitled to his own facts. You know what I'm saying? But it's the personality. It is what it is. Then you get certain fighters who feel they're entitled to special treatment or status, and they feel like if they're not receiving it, well, then, they start to criticize and blame everyone else. Who's a fighter, right, where people right now are saying needs to be pampered, needs to be praised, needs to be told great things? Anthony Joshua. Now, I'm not saying I agree with that, but I'm saying a lot of people feel that he needs yes men around him. As a result, he can become a little bit, he can ridicule, become frustrated, and start to criticize the way things are going. You look at him right now. for him to walk away from several trainers, that means he's criticized their ability to coach him. Now, I will say this. I don't think Joshua should have ever left his original coach. I think his coach's name is McCracken. But obviously, Joshua received some criticism, and in turn, he decided he was going to criticize his coaches for not what he felt was setting him up for success one way or the other. So he leaves McCracken. He goes over here. He hooks up with, what's his name? Robert Garcia, right? Yeah, from McCracken, he went to Robert Garcia. Yeah. Then Robert Garcia, of course, Robert Garcia came out and said things about AJ. During the camp, AJ and Garcia were bumping heads. And then AJ now is left and he's over there. He's somewhere where, you know what? AJ is going to get criticized. The camp he's at with Derek James, AJ is going to get criticized. You know, he's not going to get the special treatment and he's not going to get the status that he's accustomed to receiving. Now, we got to see what happens, over the next few months. How does Anthony Joshua handle it? But that's another good reason for these different fighters in particular to get criticized. When you start thinking you're better than everyone else. Some people say Deontay Wilder has a little bit of this feeling of entitlement. I mean, if you look what's going on with Deontay Wilder right now, man doesn't want to fight Andy Ruiz. He wants big money. He wants to go after Usyk, and now he just supposedly talked with Tyson Fury. You know, Deontay Wilder, he got a little bit of a special treatment. Got himself a certain status, talking about his people need him. That's what he said. My people need me. I'm coming back for my people. Well, damn, if that's the case, then sign the contract and fight Andy Ruiz, champ. Well, if that's the case, why you feel entitled to big money? As a result, you're going to get criticized for it. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's going to sit here and agree with what Deontay Wilder is doing right now. The reality is that the kind of money that he wants is just not there. But then again, another reason for people to get criticized is, hey, they feel they're entitled to special treatment or status. And I think Deontay Wilder in his situation perfectly fits into that talking point. Now, how about this? In boxing, people want to make you look bad to advance their own position, right? And make themselves look good sometimes with the management and promoters. Dillian White. He's a classic case of, hey, look at me. I'm great. F Anthony Joshua. F Derek Chisora. F Deontay Wilder. F Tyson Fury. F everybody. Andy Ruiz. Big fat Andy Ruiz. That's Dillian White talking. He is just an angry bird, flying around, dropping crap off, and then squawking about and flying back up. But we talk about this talking point of someone who wants to make you look bad to advance their own position. That's Dillian White. But that's the reason why people criticize, because that's their agenda, to try to improve their position. In addition, Dillian White probably feeling insecure, overcompensating. We know Dillian White has a lot going on right now, in between trainers, trying to learn Buddy McGirt style. Buddy McGirt sitting there. Buddy McGirt doesn't care. Dillian White's in limbo. He wants the AJ fight. I think Eddie Hearns is going to feed him to AJ, then brush Dillian White off. But it is what it is. But if you have somebody out there like that, man, who feels insecure and they need to overcompensate, they're going to criticize you. And Dillian White is a great example. Let me tell you something. When you have people who want to give you the benefit of their wisdom or experience, when they feel that they're genuinely helping you by talking to you, or they claim they're mentoring you, and then for some reason they feel like you're not listening, or they're like, well, I tried to tell them, then they want to criticize you, right? Now, who are we talking about when we talk about people who claim that they're genuinely helping you by giving you the benefit of their wisdom and experience, and when you don't listen, they want to criticize you. How about Floyd Mayweather and Gervonta Davis? I think that fits perfectly into that one. It's crazy, man. And you got some people out here have strong opinions on things. And, if you don't agree with them, well, then they criticize you. Eddie Hearn is one of those guys. And he's a good talker. He's a good debater. But I like to see with him and Bob Arum go back and forth, because Bob Arum is pretty witty even in his advanced age. And, they have strong opinions, and they sometimes can see other people's points as less valid than theirs. So that's why you see guys like Luda Bella, Bob Arum, and Eddie Hearn always criticizing each other, and Leonard Ellaby, because everybody feels that their point is more important, their view is more important, and everyone else's is less valid. Okay? Let me see, man. So those are some good reasons where we see fighters getting criticized, promoters getting criticized, where we see a lot of chaos in the boxing community. It's not going anywhere. So when we talk about this and people trying to bully and intimidate and trying to defend their own actions and stuff like that, and guys who are like guys and girls lacking social skills, let me tell you, those are all reasons for people getting criticized. And when we talk about the ladies, man, talk about Clarissa Shields wanting to come out and talk about certain things and criticize certain situations, or people wanting to criticize her and criticize female boxers. Okay? Because there's a want to feel important and respected. You telling me the female boxers right now, you think that they don't want to feel respected? That's why they come out and they criticize the women's pay, and they criticize how women are only fighting 2 minutes. And they criticize how these doctors are coming out saying that the woman's body isn't made up the way the male's body is. It's not made up to take the kind of punishment that a man's body is made up to take. As a result, they should stay at 2 minutes. And then the women, there's fallout because the female boxers feel like that's bullcrap. But I'm going to tell you this, you can't argue with medicine, man. I mean, these are what physicians are saying, not just one's opinion, multiple are saying that. And we got to err on the side of caution and listen to the experts. But then again, that's a reason for doctors to get criticized, because now you got the women boxers who want to feel important and respected, and they just don't feel like they're getting it. And then, of course, you get a lot of these guys who are getting criticized because, some of these fighters are angry, man. You know what I mean? They're angry. They're pissed off. The Charlo brothers, they're always criticizing everyone. They always have something to say. They're always ranting and raving. There's something going on with those guys. I don't know if their feelings are hurt or what. Someone else who, I'm not going to say he's angry, but he's always criticizing is Boo Boo Andre. He's always out here pointing fingers and saying he can't get his fight. And I believe some people have ducked him, but, he's had some opportunities to fight too. And my thing is this. Sometimes you just got to do like what Devin Haney did, man. Take the small bag of money, go out there and get a win. They can't keep doing that to you. But you look at Boo Boo Andre and jumping all around and kind of criticizing the fighters, criticizing the promoters, and people are criticizing him as well because he just wants to feel important. He just feels that he should have more respect, and he just feels like, look, I should be getting more money. And there's some people who feel like, no, you know what? You're acting unfairly and you're trying to take advantage of a situation, and we're just not going to reward you. But then again, it boils down to different values and perspectives between some of these promoters and fighters. And at the end of the day, you got to be able to put butts in the seats, man, okay? But when you have fighters who feel like they're being humiliated, then they're going to look for a power play. They're going to look to come back and lash out. So it's all reasons for people to get criticized, man. It is what it is, all right? But that being said, if you ask me, when these fighters are being criticized, especially for me talking about Berlanga, talking about Teofimo Lopez, talking about, Deontay Wilder, those are the three, and Adrian Broner, those are the guys who I'm really paying attention to right now. Because Broner, he's saying some things that are getting people's attention. And I know he has a good relationship with Al Heyman, but Some people don't believe Adrian Broner, but I tend to believe him. But I just hope he doesn't. Obviously, he's frustrated about something too. But hopefully he doesn't go too far with his rants and criticizing Al Heyman and PBC. Hopefully he just keeps that to himself and between them and don't put too much out to the public. Deontay Wilder, not sure what exactly is going on with him, man, but I think he's in an unhappy place right now because, you know, when they just listen to him and not wanting to sign for certain fights and worrying about the money, tells me that, you know, what he returned to boxing for, which is basically to make good money over the next 6 fights and then sail off into the sunset, it's not happening the way he planned. And it is what it is. Berlanga, I just think, you know, he wants to cash himself out. Talking about he's a superstar. You know, hey, look, we're going to criticize him. He's a good fighter. I think he can be elite. But right now, he's got some work to do, all right? He's got some work to do. You can't get frustrated in a boxing match and bite somebody because you can't knock them out, even if they're fouling you. You know, you just can't come out and bite somebody. And Teofimo Lopez, I think he's probably the most delusional right now. Don't get me wrong. He has skills. He does. But I just think he needs Gamache back in his corner. Teofimo Lopez will not beat Josh Taylor. Teofimo Lopez is definitely not beating Regis Prograis. He needs Gamache back in his corner. His dad needs help. And that's just my assessment of him. I've been watching him for a while. You look at what he did with Comey. Look at what he did with Lomachenko. And then look at how he fell off with Kambosos. Look how he fell off in his first 2 fights at 140. Don't say, oh, but he won. I don't care. Look how he won. That's the problem. Don't say, oh, he's fighting at 140, man. 135, 140, that's 5 pounds. This man was killing himself to get to 135. He's in a much better space. I'm telling you what the problem is with Teofimo. They need help in their corner. But that being said, these are some of the most common reasons fighters get criticized. It is what it is, man. All right, hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe. Consider donating. Y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans all 7 continents. I'm in the breeze.